Today is July 26th. It's a big day for us, a big day for you too as our viewers, as we're going to introduce you to our property in Canada and a vision and a view of what our house is going to look like that we're about to start building. So we're headed now from where we're living at my daughter's place, and we're heading to where we bought our land here in Ontario. It's 10 kilometers between the two properties, so I thought I would just give you a little background on it while I drive there, just so you can see kind of a bit of the countryside too, and where we live, and where we're planning on living. Just so you know, we bought this land 3 years ago. We were here visiting my daughter and kind of really started to fall in love with the area here. I always knew that I was going to move from the province of Saskatchewan once I retired. I just felt that I needed a change of some kind. I always thought I would move back to British Columbia where I grew up, but it just, well, a couple of things that kept that from happening. One was the cost of living out there, the cost of property out there, and I didn't really want to get further in, I shouldn't say debt, but have a larger home and that cost more money and have more money tied up in my retirement than I already did. So when we were down here visiting 3 years ago, we started looking around a little bit, and it was like, this is really a nice area. 2 hours north of Toronto in Ontario. This is kind of what they call cottage country around here. So there's a lot of, we're on Georgian Bay, which is on part of Lake Huron. So there are lots of beaches, lots of water, a lot of water activities. Very, very close by. So, like I say, we did a little bit of looking, weren't really serious about it that much, and then once we went back, I just sort of kept checking from time to time, and then came across a piece of property in a place called Port McNicoll, which is next to Midland, or a few kilometers away, and it had an unbelievably low price. So it was, let's check this out. I couldn't believe it. So I phoned the realtor who had it listed, and by the time he explained to me about the property, there was a reason why it was priced as low as it was, and because it did not have access, and it would have meant putting in a road. So by the time I started to look at those things, it just didn't make sense. But he did mention to me that he had another piece of property which the township was selling, and that he felt that it would suit for what I was looking for and what I had told him I kind of wanted to do with the first piece of property. So he hadn't listed it yet, but he sent us the information, and we took that information, and it seemed, wow, this seemed really good. The land itself is on the end of a road on a cul-de-sac. The property itself is 85 feet by 115 feet, which is a very large, well, it's larger than your average city lot by probably 2 times. So that really was very appealing to us, because having lived in a townhome and a housing project previously, I really didn't want that concept or the closeness of all the neighbors again as I had in Saskatchewan. So this looked appealing. The price was actually very, very good. It was actually well below what property was selling for in Saskatchewan. So when I started to do the math, it was, I could move out of my townhome, which was in a complex where I was getting tired of living, and take that money, and with the difference or the relatively inexpensiveness of this property, pretty much be able to move straight across without having to spend more money, and yet have a larger, much more desirable home than I had presently. So we then asked my daughter Kimberly and her husband if they wouldn't mind taking a peek at it, just so that they could see what it kind of looked like, because as you know, pictures don't always show you how things are. So they took a drive over here, took a look at it, did a walk around the property, and they said, "Dad, this looks pretty darn good." So we took a chance. We thought, all right, let's buy this, or let's put an offer in on it if we get it. If it's a good price. If we don't get it, well, nothing really lost. But at the same point, let's buy it, and then if for some reason we change our mind and decide not to move here, well, then we have the opportunity to sell it. And at the price it was at, I felt that even if we did that, we'd be able to make money as it was. So made the offer to the township for the property. They had it listed at $35,000, which to me was very, very cheap. First I thought of offering $30,000, but then I you know what, if you're serious about this, put in a serious offer. So we changed it, put in an offer of $32,000, and it was accepted. So we bought the property. I knew and understood at the time that that was a very cheap price, and one of the reasons is because the cost to develop the property, or what they call development costs, which you pay in Canada, were not in the selling price. At the time, they had told me we were somewhere between $21,000 to $22,000 in development costs over and above what we paid for the property. When I looked at that, that still was a very good price on the property. So we moved ahead, made the offer. The township accepted the offer. So we, on June 1st of 2017, we came to town here for our regular annual visit, and we sat down with a lawyer and completed the deal and purchased the land. So this is what we're going to look at right now. My original intent was to build after 2 years, but for a number of reasons that didn't happen. I ended up working a little longer than planned, and then again with the advent of the pandemic and everything else, it was set back slightly. So now we're coming towards Port McNicoll. We just turned off the highway. This here is we're still actually in what's known as the township of Tay. We're not actually in Port McNicoll itself, but as we come up this hill here, we will turn to the right onto Easton Avenue, and this is where our property is. So this is Easton Avenue. It was developed, by the looks of the houses, I would say a lot of these were built in the 70s, maybe in the 80s. So, you know, a good 40 to 50 years ago. And this road is a dead-end road. It gets downhill pretty much the whole way. I will do some drone footage at some time, but just not ready to do it at this point in time. It doesn't show very well because the land isn't cleared well enough. But if you look along here, you see all of these homes are, for the most part, well maintained. It's a quiet road, really nothing in the way of traffic up and down the street other than the people who live here. So that was very attractive to us. And as you get down here to the bottom, you will see that the road does end, and there is a cul-de-sac down here. And our lot here is the very last one here on the right. We will just point the camera towards it, this is our property here. So as I mentioned, we're at the bottom of a hill here. So as you can see, the road, these are the neighbors' houses around here. Haven't met any of these neighbors. This here is, I believe it's still owned by the township, but there is no intent. It is not divided as a piece of property, so it doesn't look as though it will be sold at any point in time. Mind you, things could change, so we'll see. But this here is our neighbor Chris. He owns this shop here, and my property, or our property, actually starts 5 feet, so basically 1.2 meters from this shed. So if I stand right here, I believe right about here, I'm on the corner of the property. Property starts here. The hydrant will stay, the green sampling station will move. These trees along the back here will be removed, and we'll be adding 20 feet further back that way. This is, the garage will probably sit right about here, accessing from this side. Turning this way will be where the house will sit. These trees here will also come out, anything, and the house itself, this is looking down into the backyard. It will obviously get built up probably 8 to 10 feet. Trees in this corner marked with a red X will come out, and this will be our backyard down here. Right from here to that corner down there, those 2 trees will also come out. So the whole property So that's it. This is the property we've bought. We're excited about it. Today being July 26th, we have scheduled for the excavator to be here on August 10th. He will be removing all of the trees, starting to shape the land, bringing in dirt wherever necessary, and then further in that week they will dig for the basement for the home and for the garage, and we will get a contractor here and start building. So this is the process. It's a large build for us. We're excited about it. We expect this is going to take us anywhere from 6 months to a year to complete. We will be bringing you along for the journey. I do intend to do a lot of the work myself, so there will be multiple videos on this and how it progresses. So if you're interested, please subscribe and follow along. We like likes as well, so give us some likes, and we welcome any comments regarding the home, the property, anything like that. And we hope that you come with us on this, because we think it will be a very exciting journey. Okay, till next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.